Okay, this is a spur of the moment movie vlog. It is the, I don't know, something of January. It's a Tuesday, anyway, Tuesday night late, and I'm about to go I'm about to go into my living room and watch Unbreakable for the very first time. Very popular film. Wow, that's a really close angle. I apologize for that. And yeah, this is a really spur of the moment video, but I thought it would be fun to quickly chronicle my first reaction to the film Unbreakable, which I know a lot of my friends and people who I follow online are very high on and have loved for a very long time. Just always eluded me. I really should have seen it when it came out, 2000, like I was in my young teens then, and so it would have been probably a perfect film for me to watch and enjoy at the time. Now, a couple of years ago, I saw the film Split, and for all I knew, it was a thriller about a guy with split personalities. And that's what it was until the last 10 minutes, where it went a bit supernatural, and that kind of threw me a little bit. I still need to revisit the ending of that film. I love it. I think it's a fantastic film. James McAvoy is one of my favourite actors, probably ever at this point. Just the rate that he's churning out great performances, but he's always been a favourite of mine, and I loved the film. The ending was like, huh, and then Bruce Willis shows up, and I'm like, Unbreakable, I guess. So that held no resonance for me whatsoever as far as the reveal that it was part of the Unbreakable / Glass universe. So tomorrow, me and Connie are going to watch Glass in the cinema, and she's pretty much put me on notice. I've been ordered to watch Unbreakable before we see Glass. So, I'm going to watch Unbreakable now. Still don't really even know that much about it, even though I've seen Split, because Split doesn't really go into that. It's just kind of a little tag at the end to let you know, hey, this is part of the Unbreakable universe and we're going to do a sequel. So, on with Unbreakable, and I'll give you my brief thoughts at the end. But I'm really pushing it as far as the time-wise, because I need to go to bed to get up in the morning to go to see Glass, so hopefully I can squeeze this in and not get tired before the end of the movie. Let's check it out. I have an unusual dinner tonight. Roast chicken and stuffing sandwich from Tesco, bottle of water, because yeah, London tap water is fucking horrible, and I don't know what this is called, sugar death sundae or something, and then should I need more snackage, some squashies. So actually no, I have one more thing, the Volvic Touch of Fruit watermelon sugar-free drink, which is really nice. I love watermelon flavor, and I can't really eat watermelon anymore because the I don't know what it is in watermelon. It must be like the natural sugars. They're so sharp that they make my teeth hurt, which is a real shame because I fucking love watermelon. So this is kind of my substitute at the minute until I can afford to replace all of my teeth with titanium caps or whatever. Anyway, so on with the film. Let's check out Unbreakable. If only my teeth were unbreakable. Enough about my teeth. Less teeth, more movie. M. Night Shyamalan, Unbreakable. Let's go. This Touchstone Pictures logo makes me really nostalgic for some reason, but I can't put my finger on what for. Probably just some films I watched growing up that had that logo, but again, I can't recall what specifically it's making me feel nostalgic for. Yeah, I knew that this is linked to comic books somehow. I wonder what the average film collector owns in movies and how long they spend watching movies. Yeah, I'm actually just going to do a running commentary over the entire film. So, Philadelphia department store, 1961, as we can see from the costume design, it sets us very much into the 1960s. And this actress here on the left was actually the cousin of M. Night Shyamalan, who worked with him on many different school productions in the past and kind of transitioned over to his feature film career. This guy here is actually, I'm just going to go back and start the film from the beginning. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm in a weird mood. Well, that was a film. Done with Unbreakable. It's now gone 2 o'clock in the morning, so I really should get to bed, but let's talk about it just a little bit. So, we follow in Unbreakable David Dunn, played by Bruce Willis, a simple security guard who works at a local stadium in Philadelphia, has a wife, young son, and you quickly understand his relationship with his wife is somewhat fractured. And at the very beginning of the film, he's on a train which crashes. Some 130 people die on that train crash, except for him, and he is completely unharmed. Now, during this time, he gets a note, and the note is from a character called Elijah Price, I believe, played by Samuel L. Jackson, who is a connoisseur of comic books. He collects and showcases them in an art gallery as if they were high art, and he is intrigued by David's story, this man who was completely unscathed from this train accident. And so he begins probing David, have you ever been sick? Have you ever been injured? And David begins to realize, the more he thinks about it, he never has been hurt. He never has been injured. He never has been sick. And this starts kind of feeding into this idea that perhaps he is indestructible, or has they never use this word, but superpower. And Elijah is what you would call the complete opposite of a superhero. He is a very vulnerable and frail man. We actually open the film with his birth, and as he is born, both his arms and legs are broken. He has a condition in which his bones are very fragile, and I think I knew someone growing up, a kid who had that kind of condition. Maybe it wasn't the exact same thing, but someone who was very susceptible to getting hurt. Very, again, fragile bones. He uses a cane to walk around and so on, and so you get the feeling, which is very simply done by Samuel L. Jackson, kind of limping around, that he is just a split second away from really hurting himself. And there's a fantastic sequence when he is following someone, and he really wants to follow this person for a very specific reason that, if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about, and you want him to find this person to find out this one thing that could really be a key part of this whole story. And he encounters a set of stairs, which for him is probably, an obstacle that he should really be careful with, but he ends up rushing and he falls down the stairs, and I was literally I was so no, and they draw it out, and his cane shatters, and painful, so well done. The general kind of mystery around David, and does he really have this indestructibleness to him? I can't think of the term to throw out that would sound clever or smart, but does he have this condition, this power? And if he does, why, and all these things. One thing I loved about the film was actually the relationship between David and his wife, played by Robin Wright, at the time, Robin Wright Penn. I've always liked her as an actress a lot, but there's a scene in the film where she knocks on his door, and up until this point they've been very distant as a couple, and distance is a huge part of this film, and even from the way it's shot, there's many scenes where we're following conversations at a distance from the characters, and it's showing, I think, David's distance that he keeps from everyone, in a sense. His wife knocks on his door, and they live in the same house, but you get the sense they're living different lives, and she asks him, has he been with anyone else since they've started having problems, and that to her it means nothing. Either way, what I'm about to tell you, will stand no matter what, but I just would like to know. And after a very long kind of pause, he says no, and she starts crying, and it was really phenomenal acting, because I just totally bought that moment. I think she did a great job, and it really just conveyed so much. To me, it was like an unloading of years of pent-up emotion, but without being over the top about it either. I think it was just a super effective scene that really just, I was kind of, caring about this relationship and hoping it would get better, because I was liking the characters, but that scene just solidified that I want them to make it, and so very well done as far as the writing of it and the performances. And Bruce Willis is really good in this. People say a lot about Bruce Willis, and it's certain that he doesn't put his best effort in at the best of times in recent years, and that can certainly be seen in a lot of the films that he does, and even in his attitude sometimes in interviews and things. And that can be a shame to see sometimes, but I think that when he is trying, when he cares about what he's doing, it really shows. And you know, I mean, there've been exceptions in recent years. At Looper, I think you could certainly tell he was invested in that, and it came across very well. And here, I think I could say the same thing. And he gives a very understated performance. There's a lot of, again, you feel the years of how can I phrase it for this character, David? You feel the weight of years of him feeling like he was lost. I think that's what really comes across, and you know, they go into the whole kind of comic book and superhero and all this kind of thing. But people call this a superhero movie, and that, you know, it's such a great superhero movie. It's nothing like the Marvel movies and stuff, and you know, it isn't all about the action and it's about the characters and stuff. I don't know if I do view it as a superhero movie per se. I just view it as a very unique film. Whatever label you want to slap on it, it's a slow burn mystery with a dashing of the supernatural to me, and I found the themes that it explored really cool. I loved the way it was shot. You know, with Elijah. As the kids called him, Mr. Glass, because he's very fragile. We always, not always, but a lot of the times we see Glass through reflections. You know, when he's a young boy, reflected in a TV screen in a very long shot and a very long unbroken take, if you will. And then when we first see him as an adult, reflected in the glass of a framed piece of art from a comic book. So it's just interesting ways in which M. Night Shyamalan put this film together. And then we have kind of the slow reveal of perhaps David having this other power, this sixth sense, if you will, that if he comes into contact with someone, it's like he can see a vision of a bad thing that they've done, which could be something as small as, you know, a drug dealer, you know, picking up a packet of drugs, or someone being responsible for a lot of deaths. So I was really intrigued by this because it's only like an hour and 45 minutes, and it really slowly builds up everything, and the story's rolling, and I'm thinking, where's the villain? Where's the big conflict? Where's the big thing that, you know, David has to, you know, save loads of people, and it doesn't happen. I know it doesn't happen. I was surprised too, and it builds to a finale that was just, I could see people thinking it's underwhelming, but I think it's just so much more interesting, and has me thinking. And I think when I see this film again, I'll probably enjoy it even more. And you know, it totally, I should have seen it coming, because at the beginning of the film we see a young Glass. What was that? At the beginning of the film, we see a young Glass with his mother, who gives him his first comic book, and she says, "This is supposed to be a really good one, and there's a twist ending." And I'm just like, okay, so there's definitely a twist ending in Unbreakable. And I wasn't even thinking about the whole, M. Night Shyamalan, always a big twist ending. Wasn't thinking about that at all. But once she said that, I thought, there's going to be a twist at the end. But then I completely forgot about it, so I wasn't expecting the twist to come. And when you think about it, it really is so obvious. But I'm so grateful that I didn't even think about it until it happened. And then I thought, And then I thought the twist was going to lead to some big, grander finale, but it wasn't. That was the twist. And that's what we're going to sit with, the end. And I really appreciate that. I think it's just a different way to tell a story where you would expect it to be a little bit different. I loved the interplay between David and his son, who wants to believe that his dad is this kind of superhero in a way, and I love the scene when he's lifting weights, you know, and his son puts more weight on than he wants, and he's like, "Don't do that, it's dangerous, you know." And he's like, "Well, take him off, okay." So then the kid puts more on, and he's still able to lift the weights, and he's like, you know, "How much did you take off?" The kid's like, I lied, I put more on. Shall I put some more on? And he's just like, "Okay." And they just keep going. Really, really well done scene, and the whole film is just a series of really well done scenes. There are some people I know who kind of rank this as like a proper masterpiece, you know, 5-star film. Not quite that for me. it doesn't have the extra oomph to really carry it over to like a proper, like, incredible film. But that's okay. I think almost everything it does is executed so well, and it's so different, you know. I love. It's interesting that I watch this for the first time now when the superhero genre is so completely different. The landscape is so completely different. 2000 was really before the superhero genre became what it became. You go back to the 70s, you have Superman. That came out, it was kind of a unique thing. Then you would go to like Batman 1989. Kind of its own unique thing that spawned the Batman movies. And again, it was still just its own kind of Batman thing. But I think it was 2000 when X-Men came out, and then 2002 Spider-Man, and that's when the Hollywood kind of wheels started spinning to the fact of, okay, this is going to be a once a year, every year kind of thing. This is going to be a staple. This is going to be a guaranteed moneymaker. And now we have what? 5, 6, 7 big superhero movies a year, if not, you know, I'd probably not more than that, but regardless, you know, it's a huge part of the movie industry now. Like, it's the be-all end-all as far as making serious money is concerned. Back then, you know, Unbreakable 2000, it was really at the beginning of the superhero genre becoming what it has now become. So if this film was to come out now, it would be even more impressive. But the fact that it was released then, I don't know, almost kind of, it's almost like a warning was put out. You know, and it was ignored to the part. Well, I don't know if I should put it that way, but you know, it was. This is a different way to do it, and then everyone else just went and did their own thing, which is fine. I love superhero movies. I think they're great. Most of them follow the same template. That's fine. It's all about how you color that template in, I think, and how you execute that. You know, well-worn and bankable. You know, blueprint for a superhero movie. But it's just so great to see a film about someone who it's an origin story of a guy who doesn't gain powers but realizes. That's another cool part about it. It's not like he gets bitten by a spider, or you know, something happens to him and so he decides to become this. No, it's something that's been with him from the start, that's never really explained. It's just something he has. So it's about him discovering what's always been inside of him, and something he has that makes him special and unbreakable. And it doesn't kind of, you know, it doesn't, it's literally, to me it felt like the first act of a story, you know. But I love that about it. I love that it kind of just, it tells this origin story, and then you can just fill in the blanks for the rest as far as, you know, what he would go on to next as this kind of protector of the people, and the cost of him getting to that place is what makes it such an interesting story, because it's all about Elijah Glass, about how he is, you know, looking for someone that to him would give him purpose for finding, you know, for finding someone special who, all the stories he read when he was a kid in those comic books were about these larger than life heroes, and he wanted to believe, I guess, in some way that those heroes do exist, but it's the real world and they need to be found, and he kind of took it upon himself to try and find this person or people, and he finds it in David Dunn. So the ending I thought was great, and now I think I have to, even though it's really late and I've been waffling on for far too long, I'm gonna have to, just before I go to bed, pop in the disc of Split, which I recently bought from HMV, and watch the ending again, because again, like I said to you, when I first watched Split, I was like, oh, Bruce Willis. Yeah, that's what, I made that exact noise in the cinema. I just went, Bruce Willis. And I thought, oh, Unbreakable. And that's it, and there's no reaction other than that. So I'm going to watch like the last 5-10 minutes of Split and see how I feel about it. This is what I've got to deal with pretty much constantly. Anyway, let's check out Split, or like the last 10 minutes of it. I would really love to have the time to revisit it. Maybe I'll watch it after I've watched Glass tomorrow, but the kind of, not the completist in me, no, the chronologicalist in me would want to watch them in sequence, and so watching Glass tomorrow and then Split would feel weird to me, but I would see, look, just jumping right in my face, just meow. No, you can't sit. No, you can't sit on me. Nope, not happening. Not happening. Okay, yep. You just. Yep. Those claws were dangerously close to something important. So, watch it. Well, where was I? Yeah, right, so I would love to watch it all in sequence, don't have the time to. Should have watched Unbreakable sooner, and I really want to rewatch Split. I've only seen it once when it came out in the cinema, so I'm intrigued to see how I feel about Split, watching it again and knowing what happens at the end and seeing if I can kind of enjoy that ending more. But I don't have the time to do that, but I want to watch the ending just to see how I react to it, and it'll give me a nice kind of taster leading right into Glass, I think, so go and check it out now. Oh, one quick note before I stick Split on. The opening titles of Unbreakable, I was just like, it's the fucking Dark Knight trilogy font. That's all I could think about, is that it was the same font as the Dark Knight trilogy. I can only think of one person who would appreciate this point of view, and that's probably CP, who is a fellow font enthusiast, but yeah, I don't know anyone else who would watch that and go, it's the damn Dark Knight font. I tell you, like, I was sat there thinking, like, I can't believe it's the Dark Knight font, and then I just thought to myself, why do I fucking care about that? This is pretty fucking good. Watch this space. This makes so much more sense now. Yeah, that's a lot cooler, and just watching the last 10 minutes of this, I appreciate it a bit more, because I know we're now in a pre-established quote-unquote universe in which the supernatural does exist. Not in a very overt form, but at least, well, I suppose it's a bit more overt with James McAvoy's character in this film. But oh, that's interesting. I forgot that they split the credits in the background. That's kind of funny. Anyway, that was cool. I enjoyed watching the last 10 minutes of that. James McAvoy can certainly act his arse off. So, yeah, I think I might have to watch this later on in the week after I've seen Glass. Regardless, there is also an alternate ending, which I'm a little bit intrigued about, I have to say. But I'll leave it there for now, so thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing Glass, and leave me your thoughts on all three of the films down below. By the time I post this video, I will have seen Glass, so all opinions on all three films, or if you want to just stick to Unbreakable, that's fine. And yeah, this is certainly, now that I've seen the first one and loved it, I think I'm a big fan of this series now, although it remains to be seen how I take Glass. But regardless, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, I'm sure.
He's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.